I'm Matt at Nexus Baseball, and this is episode 48 of the Tommy John Epidemic. This series is a YouTube read of content from the book Plague of the Gods, an outsider's perspective on baseball's Tommy John Epidemic, which is available now on Amazon. I decided to put this content on YouTube to make the material as accessible as possible. This series examines the science behind the most superhuman action the human body can produce, accelerating a baseball up to 100 miles per hour. The primary argument against such a system would be one of tradition. Baseball holds its records in past in high esteem, and some would rankle at the idea of eliminating the current role of the starting pitcher. Also, there is the argument that announced starters for ball games bring fans to the yard to see the star pitcher of the team. The counter-argument would be that modern baseball has already eliminated the original concept of the starting pitcher and that it isn't coming back. Never again in baseball will there be a Cy Young in his 7,356 innings pitched, or a Nolan Ryan in his 5,714 career strikeouts. The last several decades of baseball have already moved beyond the starting pitcher in favor of matchups, analytics, and pitcher safety. The most recent affront to pitching purists has been the opening pitcher, or the use of a one-inning reliever to get the top hitters out for the first time before developing a conventional 5 or more inning starter. Placing the starter behind the opener allows the starter to face hitters 5 through 9 first, assuming a good whip of 1.0 for the opener, and only seeing the heart of the order once or twice in their outing. Seeing relievers as the announced starters for these games showed that baseball favors winning over tradition in 2019. Winning can be blended with fan interest, however. For example, Cleveland Indians pitcher Andrew Miller in 2016 and 2017 became a star as a multi-inning shutdown reliever. Fans flocked to see his dominance, and his outings were dubbed Miller Time by the faithful. In 2017, the Washington Nationals used a reliever trio they dubbed the law firm of Kinsler, Madsen, and Doolittle. The line concept could be easily marketed to fans as unique teams within the team, each with their own combined approach and personalities, similar to lines in hockey, where they were only on the ice a third of the time. The big change would be moving away from the terminology of starters and relievers. This process is already underway, though, as the lines between the traditional starting pitcher and a matchup-based lineup blur more with each passing year. It is highly likely that the approach I've described will develop organically, as it is the best-case logical conclusion to current trends and is heavily favored by the analytics. In terms of the execution of the art of pitching in the game itself, that too is changing due to analytics. With home runs at record highs, pitchers are resorting to more breaking balls and chase strikeouts to navigate ever more dangerous lineups. The result is more strikeouts, walks, foul balls, and pitches thrown than ever before. This has partially contributed to the emphasis on relief pitching and openers and the move away from traditional starters by many teams. Even in a line-based system where workloads are more distributed, a focus should be on teaching pitchers to be more efficient with their pitches. It is an old saying that hitting the baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. The best hitters will get a base hit only on average 30% of the time. Especially in modern baseball in the launch angle era, 25% being more common. Pitchers on average, looking to limit damage from the increasing number of home run swings, pitch too defensively by throwing balls to induce chase swings and nip at the edges rather than attacking the strike zone. Resultantly, many pitchers put themselves in hitters counts, where both they and the hitter know they must try to throw a strike. Most pitchers do not have breaking balls they can reliably throw for strikes, meaning they must throw a fastball in a count where the hitter knows they should expect a fastball, with predictable results. The alternative is an aggressive approach that attacks the zone consistently, but utilizes change of speed and movement to throw off the hitter's timing. It is no secret that the best pitchers in baseball throw the most strikes, often with great stuff, that utilizes these two factors to induce mishits and swing and misses. When a pitcher makes it clear to the hitter that they intend to throw a strike with every pitch, they greatly improve their efficiency by getting the hitter to swing early and often, rather than attempting to work the count. It is often said that the best pitch in baseball is strike one, and the analytics bear that out. When the pitcher has the count in their favor, the hitter's batting average drops dramatically, usually by as much as 100 points per strike. Batters are also hesitant to swing on the first pitch, often conceding a strike, reticent to make a one-pitch out and allow a pitcher to have an easy inning. Pitchers can prey on this by throwing quality first-pitch strikes not down the middle, but usually on the outer third of the plate and low, where batters have lower power numbers due to the difficulty in pulling a pitch in that location. By mixing fastballs and controllable breaking balls for the first pitch, they can also further put doubt in the mind of the hitter, so they can't sit on a particular pitch and location. After the first pitch, the most effective strategy in baseball has always been pitching to down and away and the up and in corners of the zone, with strikes. the goal being not to intentionally induce a swing and miss, but to get them to hit the ball most of the time, in a pop-up or ground out. The irony is that keeping the ball in the zone, the inclination of the hitter is to swing for the fences and get long in their swing. By changing speeds or throwing a pitch with movement away from their swing plane, which will differ by pitch type, batter swing, etc., and is why scouting reports are so important, they can just as easily rack up a strikeout against an overeager hitter. One of my favorite baseball quotes is from Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax, who said, "I became a good pitcher when I stopped trying to make them miss the ball and started trying to make them hit it." Koufax always had great stuff and struck out a good number of batters, but turned into a much more effective pitcher when instead of trying for more strikeouts, he reduced his walk rate from 5 batters per 9 innings to approximately 2 batters per 9 innings by pitching more aggressively in the zone. His ERA plummeted and his innings total increased significantly by improving his efficiency. Not all pitchers have Koufax's Hall of Fame stuff, but all would benefit from his approach, as walks are the death of pitching efficiency and are a surefire way to set up a big inning for the opposition. The best plan of attack is one that utilizes a diverse selection of pitches, each with different speeds, but only if they can be located. Pinpoint accuracy is ideal, but not required, as an unintentional miss in a good spot can be just as effective as if it were intentional. The most important factor is if strikes can be thrown over 2/3 of the time at least, and that it is the pitcher's intent to throw a strike 100% of the time. I recollect it in 2018, Tampa Bay Rays manager Kevin Cash asking his pitchers not to target spots, but to throw to a section of the zone and letting the movement of the pitch carry it to the edges, therefore improving the strike-throwing ability of his pitchers. Pitchers fall into the trap of attempting to throw pitches by hitters, not realizing that although batting averages decrease with velocity, the effect is not dramatic enough unless they possess truly elite velocity of 98 miles per hour or above, with high spin rates and movement. Modern hitters can time up an average 95 mile per hour fastball, particularly if it is thrown consistently at that speed. The best starters, including Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, habitually vary their fastball speeds within a 6 to 8 mile per hour band to avoid throwing it predictably. If a hitter just saw a 92 mile per hour fastball, they will intuitively be timing that pitch, only to be late and pop up the next 97 mile per hour offering. Not only is this approach more effective from a disruption perspective, but also from a work management approach. As discussed, the most dangerous pitches for a pitcher's health are those where they attempt to muscle up and throw the ball by a hitter, thereby compromising their mechanics and the arm's ability to stabilize itself. The effect of changing speeds is even more dramatic when a pitcher can locate breaking balls at different speeds as well, to diversify the speed ranges and movements a hitter must cover. This is more important by far than the maximum velocity a pitcher can reach, with pitchers such as Kyle Hendricks and Hyunjin Ryu showing great effectiveness by throwing strikes at different speeds. If the ability to change speeds and locate pitches can be combined with good velocity as well, that's the stuff that stars are made of. Pitchers will always give up some runs, and some of the best aces give up the most home runs in the league, again such as Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. This is because they're pitching aggressively and getting outs, but will occasionally get caught and give up a miss-hit single or a crushed home run. However, by pitching efficiently, they get many more outs through miss-hits and strikeouts than they would ever give up in terms of hits. Most importantly, they limit the walks that can get runners on base to set up crooked innings. Pitchers rarely lose games due to solo home runs and occasional singles, but is usually due to squared up line drives, walks, and home runs with runners on base. Pitching to the circumstances in the game are also important, as the same pitching strategy will not work in every circumstance, but the more a pitcher can keep runners off base by not giving out free passes, the better off they will be. It is always better to force the other team to beat you, rather than defeating yourself with poor strategy before even taking the mound. Join me for episode 49 next week. Remember, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Your support makes this work possible. Also, if you want to jump ahead, please consider picking up the book on Amazon from the link in the description below. See you next week.